You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, people.
All right, well, I guess my first question is, how's training going for your next fight for UFC 127?
Man, I figure, I'm done with training. I don't need to worry about that stuff. I'm just going to go out there and fight. So, nah, just kidding. Training's going pretty well, man. It's pretty far out right now, so I'm just trying to do my normal thing and stay in good shape. And usually it's about 6 weeks out I really start my hardcore training. So right now it's not even that phase yet. I'm just doing my normal trainings. Feeling pretty good, though.
Now, are you close to, do you walk a certain weight, or you do a major weight cut before the show?
I don't really cut that much weight. I usually walk around 185, and then when I start my 2-a-day training and whatnot, I'm usually going to lose, about 5 pounds just training twice a day. So usually by the time I fly out there, I'm about 180, and then it's just a 10-pound cut. That's easy. That's nothing. So I'm not like a lot of these guys who walk around about 200 and have a difficult weight cut. Mine's pretty easy.
All right, Donald, you got a question for Chris?
Yeah, I'm just, it's a big fight. I heard, a lot of talk about it, the past few months. What's your thoughts on the fight?
My fight or the whole card?
Just your fight.
Oh, my fight. I'm really excited about it. Carlos Condit, I've known he's a real good fighter for a while now, and he's getting the recognition he deserves now. He's especially his last fight, a high-profile fight, and he knocks him out in the first round. So, it's a perfect fight that I like. I'm fighting the guy who's going to try and, comes to finish fights. He didn't go out there and try and, take a guy down and hold him or just outpoint people. He usually tries to finish the fight, and he usually does. So that's all I ask for. Give me a guy who's going to put on a fight, try and take me out, and that's what I want. So.
No, I have to ask, how was your last fight with Matt Serra? How was that walking out to the hometown pop, the hometown fans cheering you on when you fought Matt Serra?
Oh, it was quite a different experience. I've had some fights here before, but nothing, to that magnitude, that many people. So it's always neat when I'm on the card someplace and the hometown guy gets everybody rooting for him. But it's never been me, so it was finally cool for that to be me. It's pretty exciting.
All right, fair enough. Let's see. We had a fighter from Season 1 Ultimate Fighter, Bobby Southworth, last week, and I might as well ask you the same question. What was it like living in the Ultimate Fighter house?
Well, for me, living in the Ultimate Fighter house was quite a bit different than most people, I think, because most guys I know who fight like this, they get to do that all the time. That's their life, and that's their camp, and whatnot. But for me, I'm always, I've never had a fight camper which has totally been dedicated to training. Every other time I work at the fire department. I've always had that going on for a fight camp, and I have 4 kids, so I'm always, like right now I'm at gymnastics practice with some of my kids. So I always have something going on, and that was the first time I ever had to totally dedicate myself to training, and I thought it was pretty awesome. It's just something I think a lot of people take for granted, like they always get to do that. And they might not even like it, but for me, there was no TV, no radio. I didn't care. I was like, perfect, I get to focus on fighting. That's the reason I'm here, and that's what I want to do. So it was pretty neat.
All right, Donald, go ahead.
No, I just think, if there was one fight that you have that, that you lost, that you'd want a rematch on, which obviously you just got the Matt Serra fight, what other fight would you think you'd want a rematch with?
I'd probably have to say Thiago Alves, because I really liked that fight. It was kind of my favorite type where we're just sitting there and, both trying to do what we're best at, and I felt like I was, best at punching, he was best at kicking, and we were both doing a really good job of doing that. And I got cut open about 30 seconds into the first round, and then after the end of the second round, they stopped it for some reason. So I always wanted to finish that out, win, lose, or draw. I just thought it would have been to finish it out the right way. And, Thiago's been, ever since, and he's been fighting fantastic. And I just think it'd be fun to finish that fight off, give me a chance at finishing that, the one that we got to start. And I think we both like to do that. So I like that one.
I agree. That would be an awesome choice. Awesome choice. Have you ever? How many times have you been asked if you could ever make the 155 range?
I've been asked, quite a few times that, but like I said, I typically don't walk around very heavy 185, but my body fat percentage is pretty low, and I just don't think without cutting it seriously in the muscle that I'd be able to do that very well. I remember once when I was in my fire academy, about 10 years ago almost, it was like 95 degrees out, and we had all that gear on. We were doing stuff for like 3 days in a row, and I started cramping up and had dehydrated and had to get IVs put in me. A bunch of guys had to have that done, but I had to have that done to me. And I checked my weight. I was like 161, so I was like, man, I'd have to do that plus lose 5 pounds. I was like, I don't think that's in it. I don't see that happening,
right.
man. So that's not for me.
Fair enough.
Now, Chris, I'm wondering how it felt to make Matt Brown submit a second time at UFC 116 with that sweet double submission you had on him.
Man, it was pretty good, man, because before that, right in the first round, he went for a move, and at the same time he went for that dart choke. I was kind of trying to get another move on him, and it kind of worked out where I couldn't get my move, and I was like, okay, I didn't get it. And then I said, oh, man, he gives us really tight now, so I kind of got myself in trouble trying to go for a pretty neat submission. I didn't get it, but then so I was like, oh, man, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. But I just was patient and waited it out. So it felt real good to win by submission after he put everything he had in to get me out with a submission. So it was pretty good to get it. And for a brief second, I almost got him with the same move I got him in the first time we fought. And I know he'd have been a little upset about that. So I was glad it turned out the way it did.
I'm just surprised you didn't get submission of the night that night.
Oh, well, thank you. I agree. But, Brock Lesnar had that 101 basic choke that he first move you learn. So you had to give it to him. I was shocked too. I thought for sure that was going to be stuff of the night. But, what can you do?
Well, there you go. Oh, do you have another question?
No, I was going to ask him that if he thought he had submission of the night. Just as you just pointed out, Chris, that's basically the first move that you learn when you start taking basic ground submissions. And I completely disagree. Like, I was actually at my academy just the other day, and a couple guys was trying to do that move at the MMA Fit Club, and they was trying to work that out. But I just don't agree with Lesnar getting, submission of the night when you basically had two submissions in one. I mean, the guy couldn't even tap out basically with his own hands. So I just don't agree with it.
I appreciate it. I thought the same thing, but I guess it was sometimes they throw other things in there. I guess if it's purely, I feel like the best submission, I think that mine was. However, I guess they took into consideration he was like getting beat up the first round, and then it was the main event fight and this and that, which I don't think should have anything to do with it. But I see that's how their decision. It was kind of swayed and influenced by that, so I can understand that. But it's unfortunate for me because it cost me a lot of money. But what can you do?
Right.
Now, I'm wondering, who would you rather face in a rematch, Marcus Davis or Diaz?
I don't know. Those are both really good fights, man. Both of those would be really, really interesting fights. I never really thought about that one. I don't know, man. I mean, I like both of them for different reasons. I just like to fight, Marcus Davis again because I feel like if we're just going to go out there and try and win a decision, I'd fight different. I just want to go. My mindset when I fought him was just go out there and throw down the whole time, and whoever's going to be tough is going to knock the other guy out. And he kind of decided he was going to try and outpoint me, which I wasn't. I was just like that wasn't my goal. So I'd like to redo that one for that reason. But Diaz, man, he's turned in. That was a fight we had about 10 years ago. He's turned into a different fighter, so I'd like to see how he's changed as a fighter and how that one would be a little bit different. Last time it was kind of all over the place, on our feet quite a bit, on the ground quite a bit. We both, cut the other guy open. We're bleeding all over the place, so it was a pretty good fight last time. I'd like that. That'd be pretty interesting as well.
Cool. I'm wondering, what did you think of the Showtime kick?
Oh, yeah, that Pettis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, man. I saw him do that, and I was like, man, I've never even thought about trying that. You know, I've you know, done kind of similar things in a way, just messing around, jumping off the cage, but I would have never kicked off and kicked, you know, thrown the kick with the same leg he kicked off with before at the ground. And obviously, you know, Henderson didn't think of it either because his hands were down his side and didn't think he had a chance of getting hit, and then, wow, knocked him down. So that was pretty unbelievable. That was, you know, that's the stuff that, you know, gets you on Sports Center, obviously. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's going to be on the highlight reels for some time now.
Probably forever, you know. I mean, you know, what can you think of a better kick than that? I don't think I can.
Now, I'm hoping that you will get, you know, another bonus from your fight against Condit there, but I'm wondering, do you prefer to win the knockout of the night or submission of the night?
To be honest with you, I don't care. I mean, I guess if I could get anything, I'd rather get a knockout of the night because that's pretty good. But man, you're comparing the differences is very minute. You know, anytime you can finish a fight at the UFC level, you're pretty happy. I mean, and I'm not going out there and saying I just want to win by this or I just want to win by that. You know, I want to take whatever the defense gives me, and so whatever's there, you know, I'm pretty happy winning by that. You know, if I get my way, I'm going to go out there and win by knockout. That's my goal. So.
There you go. I hope you break. Right now, you're tied with Anderson Silva for most bonuses. I'm hoping that you break that record.
Well, thank you, man. Like I said, I could have. Actually, unfortunately, I think I have one that nobody counts from a long time ago. I didn't think they didn't count them as bonuses back then. I won the Tap Out of the Night award. Back in like UFC 47 or something, they gave me a plaque. They got this big glass plaque back then, or maybe it was 49. I can't even remember what UFC 49. But you know, those aren't counted in on the bonus nights because there was no money for it. But I got a nice plaque that said "Tap Out of the Night," so that sits in my garage. That's nice.
Oh, jeez. Donald, go ahead.
You know, being here from you know, Indiana myself, there's a lot of guys, you know, they want to name drop you all the time. You know, you're the best there is and whatnot. And I agree with most of that. But what kind of advice could you give to some up and comers, man, that, you know, they're from your same city and state that are trying to achieve the level that you are?
I'd say the main thing is there's really no shortcuts. There's no magic techniques or everybody thinks, you know, I'm going to do this and this. You know, I got to go here and do this. I mean, the main thing is, you got to find a good group of people who you can learn from and just put in the hours, man. You got to be in there day in and day out, and you got to train hard at every aspect of fighting. You can't say I'm just gonna wrestle or I'm just gonna do stand up. I mean, or jiu-jitsu. You have to do all of them all the time, and you just have to keep working on your weaknesses. And you just got to put in the hours, man. I mean, I've spent thousands of hours on the mat, and you know, thousands of rounds sparring. You know, there's just no substitute for actually doing the work. You know, a lot of people want to get good real fast or, you know, skip steps. I mean, you can't skip steps. Just time and effort is all it is.
Well, I heard there's, you know, some possible stipulation coming up here in March about your teammate, Johnny Reeves, possibly fighting Victor O'Donnell. What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, I heard that was going to happen as well. I haven't seen too much of Victor O'Donnell, but from what I hear about it, I'm pretty excited to see how it's gonna go. I mean, you know, Johnny for the last couple of fights, you know, to be honest with you, he'll even say he wasn't really in the greatest shape. You know, he had a lot of things going on personal level and just wasn't able to you know, have a good camp. So this will be the first time in a while he's had that. So I'm real excited to see how he does. I mean, I think he's getting some good. You know, some good stand-up training and one-on-one and, like, teaching, you know, different reasons things are working or not working. So I think he should be a little bit better off this time. I'm very excited to see it.
Do you have any favorite memories of fighting in Japan?
Favorite memories of fighting in Japan? Yeah, I guess, you know, I fought that guy, I can't even think of his name. It's like Pasaki or something right now. And, you know, I pretty much beat him all through. He was like an undefeated fighter at the time, and everybody he was for that Team Grappler, and everybody thought he was going to be the man. And I went out there and kind of dominated and beat him all 3 rounds. And I never won decisions in Japan, hardly ever. That was one of the few times I won a unanimous decision easy. And he's went on to beat a lot of good people since then. So that was real cool going there and beating one of their up and coming stars that everybody kind of thought he was going to beat me pretty easy. And then just to dominate him like that, it was funny. It was pretty quiet in there afterwards. Everybody's looking around like, did Chris just beat him like that? So it's always fun going and beating people in their hometown, man.